Something that has driven the work for the last 10 years is just this interest in how the camera can be used to disrupt the way that it records time, light, and space, but to keep it in a way that kind of feels familiar and relatable in terms of like human perception. The show sort of starts with a combined hang of, I think, maybe 3 different bodies of work: Hell Mirage, heliotrope, and precious metal is hard to find. So it starts out with photographs primarily made in the desert around Southern California. It was really like upon moving to California from Boston, where the spatial difference between the East Coast, where I learned how to put a picture together, and the kind of vastness and openness of the West Coast presented me with a whole set of photographic problems that have been exciting to try to resolve. One thing that has stirred an interest in my practice over the last few years is harnessing that energy of the sunlight, which is, the sun is the source of light for, I don't know, probably like 95% of photographs that have been made. Using something that allows us to kind of rationalize and understand the world and describe it photographically, using that to kind of obfuscate or redact information. So a lot of those solarization pieces are kind of about trying to find that limit of how deeply you can saturate a piece of film with light before it starts to break away from its relationship to the way that we perceive things. One thing in the new works, they're horizon studies or they're motion studies, but they're really all predicated on being human, the way my body moves, the way my brain kind of observes things. Some of those horizon studies, the camera's sort of deliberately tilted, but not really at any predetermined angle. It's kind of measured after the fact. So putting the precision of photography and the imprecision of being human at odds with each other. The sky photographs, the night fades and day fades, they're made by putting the camera on a tripod and just sort of pointing it at a rectangle of sky. Instead of coming up with a very formulaic system for when to make photographs, the exposures are made just based off of my perception of change. And some of them are these unbelievable changes in such short windows of time. Some of them are longer. So I've just always loved the way that the camera can kind of compress or stretch time. Seeing more and more generative imagery come out, there's this question of what does a human image look like? Or if we're generating artificial images that are based off of this catalog of what makes an interesting photograph, which is usually cliches of exotic or beautiful subject matter. There's something about photographing something as mundane as just a section of the sky that seems, I don't know, in my brain, a machine wouldn't think that that was worth recording. So trying to find observations that defy what has been measured as visually interesting